Hello and welcome back to the Insane Knitter's YouTube video channel. I'm the Insane Knitter, and there has been a request in the comments for a demonstration of pass the slip stitch over. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. I've got a little bit of knitting I've done here on my needles, and these are size 8s needles, and this is just some random acrylic yarn that I have for demonstration purposes. What pass the slip stitch over does is it makes a decrease. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 stitches on the needle. And when I show you pass the slip stitch over, it's going to decrease this number. So let's see. We'll go ahead and we'll show you this. So we're going to knit. Yes, I'm a thrower. We're going to knit a couple here. There's 1, and there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Now, we want to slip a stitch. So instead of knitting it, I just pull it off the needle like I'm going to knit it, but I don't. So there's my slip stitch. I just slipped that stitch. Then we knit the next one, or the next 2, or whatever your pattern calls for. We'll just say it's 1 for right now. Then you see that little slip stitch right there. You see that? You can tell it's not knitted. That stitch right there is not a knitted stitch, and you can really tell when you look at your pattern. There's no little stitch bump. It's not. You can see it's just kind of stretched there. It's not knitted at all. Now, when you pass the slip stitch over, you take your left hand needle, put it under that stitch that you didn't knit, and pass it over the stitch you did. There you go. So you just pass the slip stitch over. So that stitch I didn't knit is now slipped over here. It's off the needle and it's not there anymore. So I just removed 1 stitch. It's a decreased stitch. So we'll do it again. So there's 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 3 stitches, 4 stitches, and 5 stitches. And now we'll slip 1. So I'm just going to pick it up like that, like I'm going to knit it, and then I'm just going to pull it right off the needle. So there, I slipped that stitch. I didn't knit it. And then you knit the next one, or whatever your pattern calls for, knit 2, whatever. And now again, you see that there's a stitch here that you didn't knit. It's just kind of there. And you want to take your left hand needle, go right under that stitch, and pass it over. Pass the slip stitch over. Now that's a decrease, and it'll give you a right decrease. It's decreasing, or left, sorry. It's decreasing to the left. When you knit 2 together, that gives you a right-sided decrease. So it just depends on your stitches. Sometimes you can substitute the stitches, the knit 2 together for a pass the slip stitch over if you want. I'm not that talented, and that's a very advanced technique. That's like writing your own patterns, and I'm not good at that. So 3, 4, 5, and let's slip this stitch here. So we're going to slip that like we're going to knit it. Slip it, knit it, the next one, and then again we have that stitch. We have that stitch that we didn't knit, and we just pass it over. So there we go. Pass the slip stitch over. Now, like I said, that's a decreased stitch. So, and we had 20, remember? Well, now how many do we have? Because see, you can see, I hope, where I decreased. See, it goes to the left there, little left-sided decrease. There's one there, and there's a little one over here on the end, but ignore that one. But yeah, see, you can see where I decreased these stitches. There's one right there. See that? And then there's one right here. See that? They kind of go to the left there. Now we had 20 stitches, but how many do we have now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, because we decreased 3. 3 times we decreased. We passed the slip stitch over 3 times. Now, on the back, I mean, you can do it on the back too, but it'll look kind of silly with this pattern because this is purl stitches. So I would purl back and then try that again. So I will be back in just a minute. We're back to the purl side. I'm going to purl these last 2 stitches. So there's purl and purl. Come on. Okay, so now we're back to the other side, our decrease side. And we've purled another row, so that gives us a row of knit stitches on this side. And you can see, I hope, the decrease stitches I made earlier. See, there's a left decrease there, left slanting decrease. You can see it right there. Those 2. There you go. Hope that's a little better. Right there. Right there. So that's past the slip stitch over.